Ethereum. So, been a few bits of progress recently with Ethereum, particularly with regards to institutions once again getting in. We keep seeing this. Every few months, it's institutions piling in on something, whether it's Solana, whether it's Ethereum, whether it's Bitcoin. At the moment, there's some piling in on Ethereum. So we're going to take a look at what's happening right now, along with what can happen this year. Now, before I get into it, if you're new here, this spreadsheet shows the first 26 coins that I did videos about on the channel. In the videos, I show myself buying up these coins. These were cryptos I thought would do very well and make a lot of money. You can see what they were all worth when I recorded my videos. You can see the highs. All these coins hit around about 16 months on. These are what your profits would have been if you'd have put $100 into those coins. 100 into each in that time would have made you over 123 grand. Now, the thing is, we're in a bull cycle. If you're not happy with the cryptos you own or you don't own any, get that sorted. If you don't know where to start, have a look at my website, which is copymycrypto.com. On the site, I share my entire portfolio with my members, so my members know every single coin I own. Whenever I'm ready to buy or sell a new crypto, I tell my members the crypto that I'm going to buy or sell and the price that I'm going to buy or sell at, so my members get in and out of coins at the same price as me. If you go onto my site right now, you'll be able to see the profits my members have made. You'll be able to see our past successes. These are all public record. If you go onto the videos on this channel, you'll be able to verify it all. Read through the whole site, watch the videos, and if you like what you see and you want to learn more, you want to hear my daily market updates, you want to know the coins I'm in, the ones I think are going to be the big winners, all you've got to do to find out is sign up on the site, guys. Now, Ethereum. So, Ethereum just in the accumulation phase at the moment. Now, I did fly up to like 4 grand in the summer of last year. It's obviously had a pullback. And look, Ethereum is first mover in terms of smart contracts, right? Bitcoin is the first mover in terms of crypto. Ethereum is the first mover in smart contracts. You've got Chainlink that's the first mover in oracles. And Ethereum is, really the go-to platform in terms of development. It's the single largest blockchain in all of crypto. You've got, a huge emergence of tons and tons and tons of layer 2 cryptos that basically up the scalability of Ethereum. That's kind of what's made Ethereum now a store of value, is that you don't really have to build, like you are building on Ethereum, of course, but you're building on a layer 2 that builds on top of Ethereum. So Ethereum is now more of a store of value than it once was. Now, this, when it launched, and it was launched by Vitalik Buterin and a number of other co-founders who have had their own successes after leaving Ethereum. You've got the founder of Cardano, you've got the founder of Polkadot and Web3 Foundation, Gavin Wood, and the founders of Ethereum, all of them have been successful in their own right. Vitalik Buterin is the most synonymous with Ethereum because he remains there. Now, Ethereum itself, when it launched, it did pretty well, to be fair. They had an ICO that raised like 18 million in Bitcoin. And their launch was pretty good and they were doing all right. They did get hacked. So when the hack happened, what we ended up seeing was Ethereum transition to what they are now, and Ethereum Classic is actually the original Ethereum. Ethereum have gone through tons and tons of different upgrades. The Ethereum merge is obviously something that happened a couple of years ago, or a few years ago now, and that was moving from proof of stake to proof of work. We've seen, the tokenization on Ethereum, so the ERC20s, which every other smart contracts platform has kind of done the same model of that. And Ethereum Killer has always been a great example of something that keeps being brought up. These things are Ethereum killers because, X, Y, Z, usually it's scalability, cost. They're the two biggest things that are a downside to Ethereum. Ethereum costs an immense amount. It's very, very slow. And they suffer with congestion quite often. I've seen it time and time again. In fact, in 2017, it was friggin' hellish, particularly when CryptoKitties emerged and the blockchain just got friggin' just backlogged for ages. It was a nightmare moving. And it just made sense that you would buy up swap for Dash or for Nano or Neo and move your money around like that and then get back into Ethereum if that was your intention. And I think that's part of the reason that we saw huge pumps for Nano, Dash and Neo in particular in that 2016-2017 cycle. Now, lots has happened with Ethereum. Obviously, because of their slow movement, because of the stagnated sort of issues that you have with moving anything around, with the gas wars that constantly happen on Ethereum, we've seen the emergence of tons of competition. Layer 1s are everywhere now, whether it's Solana, Sui, Cardano, the list is endless. Like, there's so many. But Ethereum is the OG. It's the original, and it is viewed as the store of value. It's still the largest network in all of crypto. And we've seen recent emergence of corporate investment into Ethereum. Now, South Korea introduced a bill that unleashes corporate investment into both Bitcoin and Ethereum. We've seen the emergence of Ethereum ETF, where that hasn't done as well as you would have expected, particularly when you saw the huge success of the Bitcoin one. But again, Ethereum now is viewed as a store of value, so that is going to shift, and inevitably we're going to see huge investment into the Ethereum ETFs in the future. Ethereum whales over the last sort of 6 days or so have been accumulating like mad. 420,000 Ethereum have been scooped up by whales. That's worth approximately $815 million. That was happening in just 5 days. What that shows is that there is still the long-term bullish view of Ethereum, and there's a long-term bullish view of a few different cryptos, but Ethereum is certainly one of them. It is viewed as one of the it's the second biggest crypto in the world. And every time we see developments moving forward, every time we see Vitalik Buterin talking about how he's going to scale up Ethereum, things look bullish. I mean, the reality is that Vitalik Buterin has spoken about this not that long ago, where he said there is a need for Ethereum to scale to 100,000 transactions per second. Now, how that's going to happen, probably going to have to incorporate some sort of layer 2 technology. But if you get to that point, it's outdoing all of its layer 1 competition. We know some layer 1s have theoretical throughputs of the 200,000 transactions per second, like Sui as an example, but it is still theoretical. Until that actually comes into fruition, theory is just theory. And if Vitalik can scale Ethereum to that kind of level, Ethereum will be worth its weight in gold. Now, there was tons of discussion back in 2021 of the flipping of Ethereum flipping Bitcoin. Is that ever going to happen? I doubt it, in all honesty, but it is possible. And it's possible because a lot is being built on Ethereum. And actually what's going to be key there is that the layer 2s grow, the polygons, the immutables. If we start seeing the layer 2s growing at huge rates, then Ethereum will grow at a huge rate as well. But at the moment, Bitcoin is still the OG. Bitcoin is the one that's talked about in the news, not Ethereum. So I doubt that we're going to see ever Ethereum flip Bitcoin. What we may well see, though, is Ethereum go to new highs this year. I still expect that we're going to see that at some point. There is going to be huge institutional investment into Ethereum once again. Its all-time high is just shy of $4,900. I think this can blast past that. I think of all the cryptos that isn't Bitcoin, Ethereum is the one that has a very, very legitimate shot of hitting $1 trillion market cap. For Ethereum to do that, it has to, at the very least, hit $8,000 plus. I still think there is a world we could see Ethereum hit 5 figures. It could hit $10,000, But again, that's going to have to be through the whole world freeing up the crypto market. Now, America are making strides towards doing that. It's a bit slower than I think many thought it would be under the Trump administration. But all in all, we're starting to see a revamp of the SEC. We're starting to see a revamp of the CFTC. When they start collaborating and decide how they're going to classify cryptos, that's going to matter hugely. Because if all of a sudden, certain cryptos fall under the commodities rulings rather than the securities rulings, it frees up investors' money in a different way to what we see with securities. And I could see, some of the big boys being classified as commodities, which would change the landscape quite dramatically. If those things happen and ETFs start being confirmed more regularly, futures ETFs, spot ETFs, and really a deregulation of the market to some degree, I still think we can see Ethereum hit $10,000, but it's not going to be easy now because we're quite into this bull cycle. And while we've had pullbacks, really until the news settles with these tariff talks, with the Ukraine-Russia conflicts, really until all that stuff settles down, cryptos are going to struggle to move. So all those news items need to slow down. And if they do, Ethereum can start moving once again. I still think $10,000 is a very sound target for Ethereum. But I'm curious to hear what people think on this. Who thinks it's got no chance? Who thinks it's not going to break its previous high? Who thinks it's going to overtake Bitcoin? Who thinks Solana's going to overtake Ethereum? Where does everyone stand on this in the comments? Let me know. And guys, look, we're in a bull cycle right now. If you're not happy with the performance of your cryptos, have a look at my website, copymycrypto.com. If you go onto that site right now, you'll be able to see some of the profits my members have made. You'll be able to see some of our past successes. All of that is public record. You can verify it all on the history of this channel. On my site, I share my entire portfolio with my members. When I am ready to buy or sell a crypto, I tell my members the crypto that I'm going to buy or sell, the price that I'm going to buy or sell at. So my members are in and out of coins at the same price as me, so they make the same profit. Read through the site, watch all the videos. If you like what you see, if you want to learn more, if you want to watch my daily market updates, if you want to know the coins I think are going to be the big winners of this cycle, all you have to do to find out, guys, is join up on the site. And if you do, I'll see you there. Take it easy. Bye-bye.